Hey everyone, welcome to More Than Mises, guys. We're with the free comic book day edition of Energon Universe #1, and this has so much information in it that we have to go over immediately. And joining me is Boo from the AxonUnderground.com.
Howdy.
Hey,
This
is
is
really,
spoilerific, by the
dude, it
way.
is.
So yeah,
I mean, it really picks right up from like the last issue of G.I. Joe, #6.
right? It's like, oh wow, yeah, we just jumped right in. Like if
It
you
is.
read G.I. Joe #7, you'd miss a good chunk.
Yeah, this is they are churning right along now. It felt like everything was Void Rivals was kind of slow to get going, and once it got going, it started being pretty good. And then Transformers was the same way. Kind of felt like, oh, okay, we'll get there eventually. Oh, it's just like an overdrive now.
Yeah.
And they even gave you a nice taste of what's to come soon. So at the end.
I think it's gonna be like spiraling into like a one like mass, I guess, climax for all the arcs where they're all
Yeah.
gonna like cross the roads and
Like a spiral ship.
yes, cross streams,
Yeah. So then the cover, I thought the cover was going to be Quintessence, but as you pointed out, it's actually Clutch and Hound on the cover, which
Yeah, it's a
picks,
nice double cover.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a nice spread, and it picks right up from the end of G.I. Joe #6. Just
Yeah.
once again,
And we get what we were asking at the end of G.I. Joe #6. It tells us how Hound got here. Basically, he fell out of the arc like Megatron did.
yeah, he just fell. I mean, how many Cybertronians fell off the arc?
I mean, what, Beachcomber, right?
Yep,
And
that,
what, Astro Train?
yep,
Yeah. So, yeah,
Hound.
how many more are we gonna find? Yeah, laying around. This is a lot like what happened in Cyberverse.
Yeah, well, it's kind of almost there's a bit of where they it kind of a roundabout way of doing things like they do with Beast Wars. Like, okay, we need to bring a character in. Well, this is another character that fell off, and instead, like in Beast Wars, it'd be a character they made from Protoform or whatever. But
Right, a
it
stasis
was,
pod comes down, but
yeah, and it's a good way to give time for each new character without having to give a hard explanation of what happened.
well, in Cyberverse, they had like a lot of the first season was them hunting down the
Mhm.
different Autobots that had basically fallen out of the arc, and they'd search around and find them in different places.
Yeah, the when this, I mean, the it's almost like the arc from, say the 1986 movie, that huge hole in the side. It feels
Hmm.
like that, but everyone fell out of the side.
Oh
So
yeah,
and they all went kind of covert until the signal from Skyfire,
Jetfire.
Jetfire. God, sorry. Okay, yes, Jetfire.
Yeah, yeah. When he woke Starscream up in
Hmm.
the arc, and activated the computer. They said it's Teletran one. I don't recall right offhand if it is. I think it is.
I think so, but don't
Yeah,
hold me to that.
I'd have
So
to
yeah,
look it up to make sure.
right
It's
and
not
Justice
Auntie. We
Wrong.
know that.
No, it's not on team this. So it basically it's showing it. He was in spin animation. He woke up. He says, "I must return to my mission. I must find the rest of my people." As Hound says, his role is to scout. So he just did what he could to stay low and watch for anyone else. And what a
I
great way
kind
to
of had
do
a
it.
laugh at the bottom of that first page because it looks almost like he's by an oil rig,
He does.
which was from the storybook with the Jeep.
Yeah,
It turned out to be Hound. I was like,
nice. And I mean, it's kind of funny. He's trying to find all the other Autobots and trying to find out who's where and that sort of thing. And of course, he comes across Clutch, and you know, he they showed the Energon grenade the last issue for a really or for issue #6 of the GI Joe for a really particular reason for this scene right here.
right. In fact, we didn't know what it was. We knew it was a
No,
sphere with the Cobra symbol on it, and yeah, this issue we find out it's an Energon grenade.
yep. And Clutch is bringing it back probably to have it like examined, looked at, try to figure out how it's working and so on. And Hound looks a lot like the he kind of reminds me of the was it the Thrilling 30 or the Generations Hound?
Yeah,
That and a little bit of alternator sound. I don't know. It doesn't look like the Legacy. Hound.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the new one. I definitely could see that was I guess it was the Generations or
It was
Classics or
Generations,
whatever it
yeah.
was.
Which, considering who was also kind of had to come up in this, is kind of makes sense too.
Right? It's like they paired them.
Yep. So yeah, he's
Someone working on this comic has that toy on their desk.
yep. And he's saying like, hey, how do you have Energon? Where'd you get it? And he looks like he's about to kill Clutch. And Clutch doesn't know. They don't know each other. All Clutch does is pulls out an automatic handgun, just like starts laying into him.
He just says nope and
Nope.
unloads on.
No, it was like, answer me. Nope. It starts ringing out shots.
It's not even like name, rank, serial number. It's
Nope.
just nope.
Clutch might be my favorite character in the G.I. Joe books.
Oh, he's funny,
He's
man.
great.
He's good in here.
And like, Hound's like in the stop. He's like, you're not gonna hurt him. He's like, no, and Clutch says, you're one of those damn things that have killed good people. And
Yeah.
you get the image right there of Starscream smashing the guy between his hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Clutch is like, I think I have an idea how to take you down. And once again, we're shown the uh the grenade hanging out of his bag.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
And
he
he got him mid transformation. He threw it at Hound and hit him mid transformation.
mhm.
So
That's so Hound's messed up. And yeah, man, looking at it, it looks a lot like the Alternator's Hound that I've got. I was just looking at it recently.
yeah.
I could see both ways.
You need to snap a few pictures.
Yeah,
Throw them up here.
yeah, definitely. Um, so Hound shoots to cut him off from the grenade, and he says, "I did not want to fight." And so Clutch's like, "You want Energon?" And Hound's like, he seems pretty upset. He's like, "This is a mistake." And Clutch turns around and says, "You got it," and tosses a grenade at him. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is Clutch's personality has come through really nicely here. And yeah, like I said, he hits him mid transformation and he's beat up. He's bad off. I guess if you took like a bomb and like when you're, I don't know, trying to get away or something, and you hit someone with a like it's almost like it could be like an IED for a transformer.
He got an attack of opportunity when he turned
Yes, he
to
did. Yes, he did. He rolled the 20. Um, see
Yeah,
it.
so then the Hound's telling you, I just wanted to talk, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
That meant you no harm. He's like, oh crap, crap. Okay, look, I can't take you back to the pit. He knows if he goes back to the pit, first of all, Duke's gonna lose his mind because the people who've died because of the Decepticons.
Yeah. They're gonna dissect him.
Oh yeah, and they certainly are. It's gonna be bad. And so,
Suddenly this is turned into Alf. If the government gets you, they're gonna dissect you.
and then we find this tiny little warehouse with like a watchtower out in the middle of the desert, and
Yeah, or is that even a water tower? Is
I
that
don't know. It's
watchtower
like a
or water
lookout
tower?
tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a sniper tower or something. I don't know. And there's a runway or a road, and there's like this warehouse, and Clutch is like, I know a guy, so
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like a control tower, like on a small, like
airfield.
airfield. Yeah, because it looks kind of like a hangar that they're in there.
Yeah, I could see that. Like it's a small strip, like an independent little airfield out in the middle of the desert.
I think I went there in GTA 5.
We all have. Um, yeah, so he said like Clutch like, I think I know a guy, and there's this guy welding on something in this warehouse, and Clutch opens the door and he gets gun pulled on him immediately. Like, whoa, 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 man, I come in peace. And so there's a helmet on the workbench, and this guy's wearing a kind of a uniform that looks somewhat familiar if you grew up in the same period we did.
Yeah, gray and red uniform and
Yeah.
a gray and red helmet.
Yep.
Almost a mask.
And yeah, Clutch calls out his name Tracker. And I was like, man, Tracker, why is that spelling seem familiar? Because that's how they spell Matt Tracker.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Matt Tracker from Mask.
Yep. And yeah, it's
So now we're
it,
folding in the Mobile Armored Strike Command,
so I guess that's gonna be part of the Energon universe too. Cool.
which which Mask was folded into GI Joe a few years ago.
It was, which
Yeah.
is probably why they're able to fold it in here.
Hmm.
Um,
Matt looks a little different this time though.
oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's just slightly different look. I was kind of wondering how they were going to bring that in because it makes sense if they got folded into GI Joe a number of years ago. I don't personally remember that, but I don't really
Well,
watch.
yeah.
I don't really
And
watch.
then in 2016, when they brought Matt Tracker back,
Hmm.
they made him African American. So
Okay.
this isn't that new. And there's even an action figure that they did for San Diego Comic-Con for him, where he was African American.
Wait, wasn't there a, big box set for yeah, the different licenses at one of these
Yeah, that Revolution thing. Yeah.
yeah, didn't have
Yeah, it had
Visionaries in there too.
Visionaries, it had ROM, it had
Yeah,
yeah, Jetfire, all kinds of stuff in there.
that's right. Huh, well,
Yeah,
there we go.
and the Matt Tracker in there was African American. So this
Nice.
isn't anything that should be that shocking for people that have kept up with,
Yeah, people who like me
that
who
stuff.
I didn't realize that it's not a big deal to me, but if people who
Yeah.
really look at this are like,
Now,
what's why they change it? And they didn't.
if you haven't looked at masks since the 80s, then or at least since before 2016, then it would be surprising. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's cool they're still carrying through with that. So
Yeah, and then like Clutch is like, look, man, I know you hate anybody guess, but don't freak out, man. I need your help. And Matt's like, we can finally bring it in. He's like, wait, you're not surprised there's a giant robot? It want
yeah,
what?
Matt seems like he's very familiar with Cybertronians, or at least
Yeah,
their
he's
tech.
and he says finally, which I was like, but I need your help. Fine, or maybe you finally got it out of him. Like, hey, well, just what do you need out of me? But yeah, bring him in. And so he comes in. He's got larger machinery with welding torches and such. He's been working on he starts working on Hound.
Man, he's got like assembly line robots in there.
He does. Makes you wonder what he's working on in there.
Yeah.
And
Who did he find that fell out of the ark?
right. He goes, I never thought you get pulled in the service, let alone some top secret fighting force. What did you say they were called? And that's Matt talking to Clutch. It almost sounds like something
Yeah.
Clutch would be asking Matt because we don't know what Matt Tracker's doing out here. And Clutch is like, yeah, G.I. Joe, if you want to, I can talk to him, put him in a good word. And Matt says I prefer to work alone, which I don't know if that's going to continue this way, but maybe this is a way to show the branching off of their next
He's
title.
private sector.
Yeah.
He,
Um,
he's doing skunk works out there.
yeah. Well, he says, how did you know how to work on this tech anyways? He's like, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. And Clutch is like, ha, nice. You're joking, right? And Matt Tracker just doesn't say anything. All right, I was done. And there's this really nice shot of Hound's like his profile. It's like incoming. You got incoming, run.
Yeah.
This is
He
artists
can
on this
sniff
is
them out.
this art looks great.
Oh, it does.
Oh, so good. And yeah, you see Ravage.
This is Andrea Milana doing the art
Okay,
on this
well,
one.
hopefully
Yeah.
we'll see more of her been working on this stuff. Yeah, so Ravage jumps in through an upper window, which makes me wonder if are they below ground right now working on this? I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
Well,
And
no, because there's the big garage door.
yeah, so I think it's just a high jump.
Okay, maybe
And
they have any windows on that side.
like the comparison I made earlier with Alf,
Uh-huh.
his nemesis is a cat.
Nice. But yeah, if anyone has the Generation Sounds, well, I do. Comes like a little cage and comes with a Ravage figure that goes with him because why not?
Right?
Um, it's to replay that the whole beginning of the miniseries where Hound is messing with Ravage. He's got him in a cage. So, but yeah, so Clutch is
Oh,
like, what the
and it's I guess Andrea. So this
Andrea?
is a male comic artist.
Okay,
So yeah, they're
Andrea
from
Milano.
Milan. I think no, not Milan. I'm dumb. They're from Rome. Her last
Okay,
name is Milana.
gotcha. Okay,
So yeah.
okay, so we're finally caught up with
So he
that.
has an Italian name. So
Yeah.
It's
You
not
know,
the English female name.
yeah, Rabbit. You get a bird's eye view. Well, I get a first person view from Ravage, where he's
Yes.
looking at Hound and Clutch and Matt Tracker. So Matt Tracker just opens up with guns, which kind of surprises me because you would think he would know that you can't really hurt these things with handguns. But
Well,
I guess
if he has had to fight one before, maybe he hasn't had to fight one. Maybe he's just found chunks of their tech or a deactivated one.
that's true too.
Yeah. And this is a
Yeah,
little one.
yeah. And the Clutch pulls the old cup, pulls out an Energon goodie. It's like
I was gonna say that too. It's like that was an Energon goodie right there.
it's like a little. It looks like a stick of gum, pink gum.
He's
But
got out
yeah,
the Hubba Bubba challenge on
yeah.
him.
And Ravage turns and looks at him and jumps at him. But yeah, it's
Yeah, it's like he's sniffing out that Energon.
yep. And Ravage is getting ready to go basically bite his head off. And Hound does his own nope, pulls him off and tosses him. So yeah, he
Right through the
tosses.
garage door.
Yeah, he bounces him right through the door, takes the door off, and he's gone. So then Hound starts, shooting at him. Uh, and Hound's like, "Yeah, we should probably go. They'll return with more."
Yeah,
So
I told him go back to your master.
yeah, which obviously we know who that is.
Yeah.
And so
Now that
now,
Ravage is back together.
yeah, exactly. This is a
Yeah.
quick little mission. And he's got Hound all repaired. Did a pretty fast job of it, sounds like, because the sun's coming up. And he's like, "Yeah, sorry to be a place." It's like, "Oh, it's time I moved on anyways." So obviously, Matt Tracker's moving around and working on like secret stuff or like um, just stuff that's, I guess I don't know if it's secret from the government or if, because he's has his own organization here. If he's
Oh, it's his own little secrets because it
yeah, that's what I
doesn't
was
seem like
wondering.
he's letting anybody know. He's Tony Stark in it.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling, except without a nice house in Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah, well he's probably got a nice like gas station attached to a mountain with a big boulder on it.
There's anything going on that mountain?
Hmm.
God,
Does he have a big rig there?
no, probably not. I mean, maybe he has
Probably
a
not.
friend that has one. He's his Asian exchange student also hanging out with him.
Right?
Um, so he's like, "Yeah, stand trouble, buddy," and they're like kind of like exchanging pleasantries on the way out there. And he's like, "Hey, Clutch, wait, don't tell anyone about this, okay? You didn't see me." He's like, "Well, yeah, man, yeah, you got it."
Yeah, see, he's keeping all this like under wraps from
Yeah,
everyone.
he does almost sound like he's doing this kind of freelance Tony Stark thing. You're right.
Yeah.
And Hound is like, he looks at Clutch. He's like, "Hey, let's come ride with me. We got to talk."
Well, it sounds like he doesn't trust the military industrial complex,
No,
especially to let him keep his tech.
which I can't really blame him. Almost like he's been involved in the military in some way.
I
But
wonder if that's not how they bring in like Miles Mayhem because the guy dressed like a general, so
yeah, you're not
general
wrong.
gone rogue with
Almost
stolen tech from
like a Black Rock style, private fighting force.
right.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they do their own comic. We get a mass comic out of this because we've got an empty week out of our 4 week intervals. We got,
You can fit
we
another
got
one in
Void
there,
Rivals,
man.
Transformers, G.I. Joe. We need Mask on that fourth week. So,
Yeah. I wonder how, I'm trying to think like how if they could put visionaries in there somehow. Probably not.
oh yeah, they can bring Visionaries
Well,
in.
they'd like maybe they did a like, oh, they could do something like a Master Force setup where the main characters are actually like working like in everyday jobs, that sort of thing, and like the awakening of the Transformers, the Energon, and all the stuff going on kind of awakens powers, and they've got to do their thing fighting again.
Didn't we already have a reference to Prismos in Void Rivals?
I think we did at one point.
Yeah,
Pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, was it? It's been a little while, like maybe number 17, like two issues back.
not to dig around. Yeah, but yeah, it wasn't long ago. But I thought they had a reference to Prismos at
It
one
was just
point.
a mention.
Yeah, I mean, we've had. reference to Nebulos also. So
Um, so they exchange pleasantries on the road. Hey, you can stop calling me human. My name's Clutch. Okay, you can call me Hound. And he's like, okay, so where did you get the Energon weapon, Clutch? Oh yeah. It wasn't off these robots. There was these guys called Cobra, and we're gonna tell more of the story with that. So I'm
yeah,
kind of
so
surprised that Hound's not picking up anything about any other Transformers, unless he just wasn't privy to newscasts and stuff.
he's still trying to sort things out. He might even not even be like searching those wavelengths yet.
That's true.
We'll
Good
see
point.
later though. There was somebody doing that.
Oh yeah, and there's a quick little thing, a mention of Cobra. There's this turned over Cobra Jeep in the swamp, and I guess he was he's trying to find out what's going on there. Like there's some leftover energon in the swamps.
Yeah, they were sent to go gather up what was left out there.
Yeah, and he's like someone off panel is saying like the Dester's orders. Like no, yeah, we used to work for him, but now some other guy took over. Does this bloke wear a shiny faceplate? Yeah, his name is Cobra Commander. That's the one who took everything from us. Once we get our bloody hands on him, it's war. So the Dreadnoks are coming after Cobra Commander.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be fun. I kind of like the idea that the Dreadnoks are not they're not the idiot force in this. They're always just kind of silly and fun, but not like this. Is
Yeah.
does he have a whole thing going on like with his a chainsaw hand like Ash?
That's what I was wondering if that's what they've done with Buzzer or if it's just the way he's holding it. It's hard to
We'll see.
tell.
It kind of
But
looks
that
like
would be
that.
kind of funny.
Looks you see bandages wrapped around his arm right there, and then it goes
Yeah.
right into the chainsaw. Huh. That'd be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be. And it's got a very Evil Dead look behind it too,
Oh, it
with all
does with
the
all the
twisting
scary trees
vines
and
and stuff.
stuff,
Yeah.
and the Cobra soldier on the ground like no.
Yep.
So very cool.
And
And
so that says to be continued.
yes, and then we move on to Transformers again. This time we're going Cybertron then, and it's kind of funny. It like has almost like a Cybertronic spree kind of look to it.
I'll say this is absolutely a reference to Cybertronic
Oh
Spree.
yeah, with RC singing, and they have but except it's just Autobots, and you have Jazz playing two pianos and Blur's on the guitar. That's a Blue Streak on the bass. It looks like, and Cliff Jumper on the drums. And man, they are killing it. Except Jazz doesn't know when to stop. He's going and he's going. He's like adding his own little thing onto the end of the song, and they're like, whoa, Jazz, Jazz.
Yeah, yeah, he's having a private jam session over there.
Oh yeah. And pretty quickly we can find out that Blue Streak and the rest of the band kicked him out. I mean, you know what that talk is. It's like we got to talk.
It's always hard to be the keyboardist in a heavy metal band.
Yep. We go to Optimus Prime. That's why. That's why Geddy Lee had to be a bassist and keyboardist. She can't get rid of the bassist. Um, so you go fast forward to Optimus Prime walking past the doorway, and some horrible sound coming out of this room, and he's got Jazz in there, and Jazz is he's getting some kind of signal from somewhere, and it looks like almost like Jazz is in like a ham radio room somewhere. It's
Oh
got all
yeah,
these
he's got like
dials.
the college pirate radio set up in
Oh,
there.
totally. You see like dials the lower, different wavelengths. He's got speakers and wires everywhere. It's fantastic. He's like,
All he
"What are
needs
you
is like an
doing?"
oscilloscope in there, and it'd be like
Oh, totally
perfect trope.
perfect. He's like, "What are you doing, Optimus Prime? You gotta Optimus. You gotta check this out." He brings him in. He starts showing all the sound, and he says that what was it like? It was something that like Wheeljack was going to throw out.
Yeah, he was trying to like study the movements of like stars and other
Yeah,
galaxies or something
interstellar
like that.
movements. But
Yeah,
it didn't really work, but it makes this crazy sound. Like he's picking up a signal from somewhere.
yeah.
And no, it's one of those things where it's showing that, Jazz, you just It's not all about the music.
It just lit something up for him. Like he really
Yeah.
liked the sound that was coming out of it.
And if you look at the onomatopoeia of it, like bow wow, ba ba ba, you can see what it's probably going to be because
Oh yeah.
doesn't shriek or anything. But I
It's
do like
very bebopish.
it is. Oh yeah, well, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
So you have like opposites like, look, Jazz, I appreciate your different perspectives and interests. And I basically tells him to turn it off. But it's one of those things that makes Jazz interesting because you know he has this different interests. He you know he doesn't see things the way the others do, which is fine. But now they're on Earth, and he hears the signal, he hears the sound, and he finally finds it. And it's outside of a cocktail lounge. What was it, the grain mill? I can't really read that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Green Mill, Grain Mill, something like
Grind
that.
mill or something. I don't know. The cocktail lounge.
It's
And
spelled like Fishbane.
yes, it is. 100% it is. Oh, looking over there, that van is like that. Is that Shredhead over there? And Jazz is like, man, it's coming from in here. He looks excited. He looks like a kid on Christmas morning. And yeah, he's looking through the window, his big robot head looking through this window at this jazz club and playing like bebop jazz. Looks like
Well, and jazz is known like for like the rhythm and chord changes, like what get got Jazz kicked out of the band, what he was
oh
doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
a lot of this the bebop jazz, there would be like people who would kind of there was a lot of jam and the different instruments. They would go off and do their own thing, and it was expected. So, you know,
yeah,
pretty cool. Like you'd have the solo saxophone, the piano, just whatever, the bassist would go, the stand-up
they
bassist would go
just
play.
jam,
Yeah.
and see what happened.
And that's why he loves this.
Yeah.
And Doctus really kind of nicely says, Jazz, does this answer the question you've discovered? He's like, no, but it's darn close. I like that.
I just love how they're just driving down the road and
He
yeah.
hears it.
Yeah, he hears it and he like turns like he does a like a 180
Yeah.
in the road. He makes a U-turn right there in the middle of the freeway. Find it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But then we move on to the next place. And this looks so good. Quintessa. The art on the planet, which every time you saw Quintessa in like the Transformers the movie '86, or you saw it on in season 3, or you see it anywhere like
And
that.
yeah, the Five Faces of Darkness
Yeah,
before it.
it has this kind of I don't know it's if it's a good way to put it, but it has like almost has these rings that are stationary that are kind of built around a planetoid. So it's a different style planet.
It's kind of egg-shaped. It looks almost like when they're throwing pizza dough, like
It kind of
midair, and
does.
like if you took a snapshot of that, that's Quintessa.
Yeah, and I like this because, during season 3, or actually the movie also, you have a lot of just weird planetoids out there, like the planet Junk.
Oh yeah.
I mean, then you have, of course, we have where Galvatron ends up, Char, which is, I mean, these just nightmarish little moons and planets out there.
Oh yeah, and Thrall also, which was
They're
like
all,
the plasma planet and goo and
yeah.
yeah, a lot of weird stuff out there.
Yep, that was season 3 in a nutshell.
Right?
But yeah, we go to the typical quintessent setup here. There's the chamber with the judgment chair, but there's no one in the judgment chair. And that judgment chair is exactly like the chair they have in the for the Quintesson. Like, same design and everything, like with the toy from
Earthrise.
Cybertron.
Yeah.
Exact same one. Get a little thing in the center and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun. And there you got little, Sharkticons hanging out, swimming around, you know, doing their thing.
Wondering what's going on.
So, we gonna eat any more today? And there's a bunch of robots in there trying to, talking about like what's going on because they realize that they're not getting sentenced and killed almost immediately.
Yeah,
Because
something happened and the Quintessons just stopped killing them.
yeah. And there's this guy in the corner, like the far right of the panel, and I read this bubble, and I'm like, that sounds familiar somehow. I don't know it struck a nerve, and I kind of felt dumb in that next page.
When I first saw this, I mean, the his dialogue gave away who it was, but
Uh-huh.
it looks like that scene in, I want to say it was the Drift Spotlight where he's all wrapped up in rags to
Yeah.
hide what he, that's what I thought of as soon as I saw this.
And I was trying to look at the line art. It looked like there's spikes or something. I'm like, what is this alien guy? He's rhyming. Quiet you must be while I work to break us free. Yeah, I should have just guessed it.
Yeah. But I mean, he's wearing a green hood and everything, so
Yeah, he looks mysterious. But we go to the Quintesson judges, and they're all around looking at the sacred ring.
we got a scientist in there with them too.
Yes, I looked on the site like scientists is working on stuff, but yeah, the judges are all hanging out in the circle watching the screen. Um, and they basically after so long, after like countless eons, they finally found Zerta. So they I guess the signal went out from Zerta. So
Yeah,
Zerta
or they
Trion.
figured out what this is on their own.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, they're smart guys.
You know, arrogant also, but yeah, they're smart.
They got good heads on their shoulders.
All four of them. Well, five, sorry. I'm like looking at the four different heads here. Yeah, we're missing one. Um, anyways, sorry, I just thought about like what did I just say? Anyways, going forward, they're it's nice
You
having them all
poser.
have their yeah, exactly. It's all nice having them all have their discussions in the different faces, so you get the different aspects. Like you have death, you have wrath, you have avarice. What are the different? They kind of stood for different things.
There's a couple of different, like, I guess, explanations where they've written down like two different things for them.
Yeah, I mean the death face has always been like judgment
Yeah,
or
there's
death.
doubt, rage, bitterness,
Yeah,
laughter, and death. But
yeah,
there was
they're kind of
another
like
one they put out too.
they're kind of like the Green Lanterns on an egg.
Right,
Um, so they're realizing what's going on here that her labors have created this ring and it's been holding one of their favorite weapons, Goliath. And so that tells you why they are speeding towards the ring as fast as they
right,
are because they know what's going on. Goliath is there again. So it was one of their weapons, and they've been trying to find him for a long time. And it was a weapon to use against something in particular. So it really sort of, trails off when they're talking about that.
right.
And
And
they're
they don't like saying Zerda's name, and they won't
no,
say the other issue they need Goliant or Goliant for.
yep, this is being very mysterious. Almost like a Unicron or something, but
Right. That's what I think. It sounds like they're alluding to Unicron.
yeah, and they're not trying to create some good force to take care of Unicron. They're using their own spin to
They
have
made a
create
weapon.
something.
It's not a good or evil thing.
No,
It's a here's our weapon to use against him.
it's the Quintessons.
Yeah.
They were in it
Uh,
for a profit.
Oh,
Then
I found the other thing where they list their faces, and they have them listed as wisdom, war, wrath, death, and judgment.
yeah,
And that was in the Ultimate Guide.
okay.
Yeah. The other listing is in the Arc book by
Okay.
Jim Sorensen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have two separate explanations for what the faces represent.
Okay. Well, I mean, we get the gist, anyways.
Right.
And they Wheelie breaks him out, and it's funny the way he looks. He almost has that kind of like you remember the book, The Wild Boy of Cybertron or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Wheelie the
Wild
Wild
Boy of
Boy.
Quintesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of has that look, except it's colored obviously different, but with the cloak and everything on,
Right.
has that kind of look to him. He looks very he doesn't look like he's a very up to date Autobot. Almost like he's
Oh
been
yeah, and he's
tied
got
down.
some damage to his
Yeah.
chassis and stuff. So
Yeah, he's looking a little cracked, a little old. But I mean, honestly, the Autobots and Decepticons were asleep for what, 4 million years? So I mean,
yeah.
he could have been younger than they are, but we'd never know. But
Right.
they've been put away. Uh, so there's one of the Alicons, the bailiff shows
Hmm.
up. He's like, "We were not to be disturbed," and then he's like, huh, "My bad, man. Prisoners are escaping. And instead of freaking out, they just say, well, look, we got him before, we'll get him again. Let the Sharkticons go after him.
These guys are small fries. This is small potatoes. We got
Yeah.
bigger fish to fry right here.
So it's only like, yeah, there are entertainment. Right now we got things to do. So, and the Sharkticons go after them, and they're all the scabies are freaking out except for Wheelie. And Wheelie, he's survived, I guess, on Quintessa a long time. He's like, no, look, guys, if you want to stay alive, stay with me.
Hmm.
What was it? If you want to live, come with me,
Right.
or come with me if you want to live. The Then we have back to the judges talking about what they're gonna do, and yeah, there it is. Goliath is our only defense if we ever face the return of dot dot dot, and that's not a name they ever speak.
Voldemort, man. Come on.
Yeah, you should not be named. Uh, they also it's almost like they're superstitious. Like they don't want to say names because it'll tempt fate and put in that energy into the cosmos.
Well, it says dare not utter. Uh, yeah, and they not dare utter because the cosmos is always listening.
Yeah,
And I mean, going from Transformers the movie, yeah, Unicron is always watching.
yeah. I guess he has a control F for whenever his name gets brought up in conversation.
Yeah,
Who said that? Um. So yeah,
yeah, they don't want to invite his attention.
no,
Yeah,
but you know, time has come, guys.
right.
Time has
I
come for
wonder how
war.
much if they're going to use any of the alternate origin of the Quintessons, where they were basically like Remoras that followed Unicron around originally, like a shark.
I mean, I could see it, and that's why they don't want to. They were preparing for him to when they say maybe he left the system or he left the galaxy, and they're like, okay, great, now we've got enough of our own technology. We're gonna start our own kind of thing here. And then they also were like, we got to make sure if he comes back, we have a way to defend ourselves, and that's where Goliath maybe came from.
Yeah,
So, but they are all about that war, all the same face.
yeah. They
Uh,
they all go to the rage face
yeah,
or wrath face,
yeah, and Scream War. And
and Wheelie's surprised the Sharkticons left so quickly.
yeah, they're already retreating. It's never this easy in all my time here.
Yeah, because the
Must
Quintesson said they were going to call in like all their troops, all the like their diaspora. They were going to try
Yep,
to pull all of them together to get on the sacred ring thing. So
yep.
we got a Quintesson war coming to Void Rivals.
Number 25. So
Yes.
that's
So
I guess the end of the next arc.
yeah. So yeah, because we got 19 is the next one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this last one was the ending. Well, is it ending of the arc?
They said that. So that means there's a mini arc,
Maybe. I don't know.
or or it's the lead in for this. We'll
That
see.
yeah, that could very well be. They could be concentrated a lot on the Quintessons. That's it. That's your free comic book day issue of the Energon Universe #1.
I love having comics where they really make you want to speculate what's
Yeah.
coming next.
That's the best part about it.
Right.
And this really, I mean, there was a lot going on here. It was packed full. And I love that.
Yeah,
Uh,
they got a lot into what is it? 30 pages?
yeah, it was about 30 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, even they brought in Mask. They
Yeah.
and this almost felt like an annual. It was so big.
It
There's so much
it
stuff in it.
does. Well, and it's got the three separate stories like, annuals would have, and
Yeah.
but man, they got a lot of story built into these few
Yeah.
pages for each story.
And it just flowed like here, okay, there's the end of the story. It'll be continued in the next issue of G.I. Joe, or it'll be continued in the next issue of Transformers or Void
Well,
Rivals.
I guess it is an annual technically 'cause it's the 2025 special, so that's
Yeah.
the closest thing to being an annual. I keep kind of hoping that we'll get like summer specials and fall specials out of them too, because they number them.
Hmm.
So I'd like to get like a 2025 special number two. I
Yeah.
love specials.
Be nice just to have something like that, something a little different, just to have, I don't know. The one-off specials, it was like the giant size X-Men's and that sort of thing. Those specials are just neat to have. There's like if you want some big event going on, and this is projecting a huge event going on.
Oh yeah, I remember one of my favorites is when they'd have like a big crossover event through the annuals, like Atlantis
Yeah.
Attacks and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, then this crossover event here is bringing in Matt Tracker,
right,
which he said he's part of GI Joe. They folded him into GI Joe, but obviously it's a completely different franchise that we know it from, as kids. So we'll see how they bring that into this. So
yeah,
that'll be
I'm
good.
really curious to see it work out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. So really, really fun issue. Like,
This was a good free comic book day comic, and if you missed free comic book day, this comic will be available for purchase on the 14th of May.
yeah, and
And
if
it'll
you
have different covers.
yeah, and if you have a local comic shop or whatever, they may have extra copies if you can just ask them.
Yeah,
I
sometimes
know
they have
the
leftovers that don't get picked up, and I think the retail price for I guess the reprints will
Mhm.
be 3.99
Yeah,
US.
that sounds about right. Free
And
comic
yeah, I'm
book
kind of
day.
hoping we'll get, how they're doing these GI Joe and Transformer crossover
Yeah,
toys. Yeah, what is it, the collaborative? I
yeah.
I was really hoping to see a Hound, like a GI Joe vehicle.
I was kind of surprised we haven't seen a Hound, especially with the main the green Jeep that the G.I. Joe characters use, or even God, Clutch came with a Jeep. What was the name of the Jeep? The tan one had like the four missile launcher.
Yeah, I don't recall
I'm
the
thinking the
name.
name of that vehicle. Reverend Ruden would know.
Anyway, that'd be cool
That'd be
to
great.
see. Yeah.
I mean, and it's Hound, so it turns into a Jeep. You don't do anything fancy with it. You don't do
Are
kind
we
of
gonna get a
destructive or
broadside flag eventually? Is that where we're going with this?
if they made him that big. Well, yeah, that's probably it'll probably be like a retooling of like Tidal Wave or something. Who knows? That'd be cool though. No,
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
going to say no. I'm not going to say no.
We need the 6 foot just monstrosity.
Yeah, with the sitting in a room until dad gets tired of tripping over and breaking his foot in the middle of the
Right.
night, or stepping on it and cracking the top of the deck in half. So yeah, let's we'll see how
Good
that'll
times.
go.
But yeah, no, I was very pleased with this. I mean, especially for free. This was worth going out for.
This was a big issue for Free Comic Day. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, because a
They,
lot of comics, it seemed like they just kind of give you a throwaway or they just
yeah,
reprint something that they've done before. But yeah, Skybound put a lot into this.
and yeah, they've been putting a lot of it into the stories and they've been putting a lot of the art and the cohesiveness, and it shows.
Oh,
So
totally.
yeah,
And
great
oh,
comic.
also
Mhm.
from the Void Rivals part, that was Connor Hughes's artwork that we saw.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, the new
Okay.
artist. So this
Oh,
is
that's gonna be
like,
great.
yeah, so we got to
Uh,
see his interior art firsthand right here.
Okay, that's gonna be great. I'm excited
Yeah.
about that. He got perspectives really good in there too, like the jail cell.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, and I mean he knows his Quintessons and Sharkticons.
yeah, he does. Very detailed on the bailiff too. So
Yes.
really nice to see all that. So hey, they look fantastic. And Connor Hughes, I'm really happy about that. If that's going to be in the future, so
And so
great
far,
stuff.
every comic I get out of the Energon universe, I like better than what we've got. Like it just keeps getting better and
Mhm.
better.
Yeah, and man, the GI Joe ones are surprising me at how good they are and how much I like the Joe team. The Avoid Rivals to me it was a little slow taking off because it was a whole new basically it's a whole new world and a whole
Story,
new
yeah.
story. But once it got going and then started bringing in different Transformers and different ideas and then bringing in the whole flipping universe,
I'm looking forward to the Void Rivals figures that they're doing at San Diego Comic-Con this
I
year.
know. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's a good sign of things to come.
I hope they have leftovers so I can get a shot at them because I'm never been able to go to Comic-Con.
No. Well, if they do anything like they did with oh my gosh with Death's Head,
Right. That's what I'm kind of hoping.
yeah, I'm hoping that we get a chance like that because yeah, I just just have them on the desk, honestly.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they can be a GI Joe size. That's fine with me. Actually, they fantastic. They can fit in the collaborative Soundwave here with Zarana and Destro.
Right? I mean, I want all the Void Rivals characters anyway. I definitely want a Proxima.
Yeah, and I want a Skuxoid, man.
Oh, Skuxoid, absolutely. We've been overdue for a Skuxoid for almost 40 years.
Oh my God, have we ever?
Slizardo.
Yep,
Yeah.
Zerta Tryon too.
We need Titan class Rockoroid. It transforms. It turns into like a big bug type thing, So
Yeah, that's
why
great.
not? Make it
That would be
happen, Hasbro.
fantastic. All right, y'all. I'm going to end it here because we will
We'll
blather
keep
on
talking.
all. Yeah, we'll just keep talking because that's what we do. So thanks for being here, everyone. Free Comic Book Day edition of the More Than Mises Guys. And give us a like, give us a follow, send us an email, more than Mises Guys at gmail.com. And check us out as we continue on with our UK trek right now. I don't know if we got to get back to the UK books because I feel like everything's happening right now with Skybound. We got to get caught up.
We've had a lot go on this last like week and a half.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for checking us out, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
See ya. More Than Misty's Guys, a Transformers podcast, is performed by Evan Johns, Boo of the AxelonUnderground.com, and Ed Strickland. Research is done by Evan Johns, Boo of the AxelonUnderground.com, and Ed Strickland. Special thanks to Hasbro, Marvel, Skybound, and the occasional extra property which we will name at whatever time is appropriate for that episode. And without all of you, this is really not even possible. So thanks for being here and thanks for checking us out every week. Goodbye.